Oh, it's time for Christmas. Oh, it's time for us. Oh, it's time.
Hello and welcome to today's Vlogmas. Now, as you can tell, today's Vlogmas is going to be very, very different. Normally these vlogs, as you can imagine, are done in front of a camera. But today, I can't use the camera. And why is that? Well, unfortunately, a little thing called COVID has intervened. And today's vlog, I thought I'd tell you a little story. And I thought I'd use this opportunity to talk about how being an entrepreneur, a business owner, and how much risk that we have, and the importance that we always talk about on this channel of having diversification of income. So today, what I want to talk about is my story as to how I got myself COVID by the looks of it, what that means, and more importantly, what I've learned from this experience. So today's vlog is my story on COVID. So with all good stories, we need to start with the how and the starting point. Well, if you think back to the last vlog that I did, hopefully you recall that I was able to head to London and was able to watch, here's the stage,
Whoa, oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh. Da, 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 da. Making our Christmas
and if you look at this picture closely, you can see, well, there's me. And I don't know for this for sure, but the only thing I can think of is during this time, even though to even gain access to the performance, we all had to provide our COVID passes, we all had to wear masks. It was a very, or as safe as you could possibly imagine element. Then the only thing I can think of was it was either this area or going to and from this event where I must have caught COVID. And for those of you who saw that vlog, you'd see how at the end of it, how happy I was. And honestly, I still am. And, I don't think I would change it for the world. Having that opportunity, if you haven't seen it yet, do get yourself over to that vlog. Really great vlog, that one. And it really showed how impressive seeing someone like Ed Sheeran in a smaller concert, a smaller venue, more intimate setting was. And it's something I wouldn't change for the world. And after that, I left London and went back to Derby, back home, and I was setting out my plans of the week. So, if we look at this as a typical week, we have Monday. It was Monday where I saw Ed. Tuesday, I travel to Derby. Wednesday, full day of work. And Thursday, I had half a day's worth of work, followed by my plan to travel back to London, because on Friday, we had a day full of content for the channel, and also it was our form of Christmas get-together with the team at Boffix. Now, because I knew that I was travelling to London and being with the Boffix team, the plan was always that at this point, to have a lateral flow test. And bear in mind, at this point, I had no symptoms whatsoever. This was just me, being as cautious as I can. I told the rest of the team to do exactly the same. Let's not risk it. So close to Christmas. Bear in mind that that Friday there was the 19th. So what we didn't want to do is contract COVID around this time and effectively would destroy any chance of having Christmas. So the plan was to take the lateral flow test then and see what happens. Now at first my lateral flow test came back with a line on it. And at first my initial reaction was, rubbish, must have a faulty lateral flow test. So then I went and took a second lateral flow test and unfortunately came back positive as well. Now with the second lateral flow test, I definitely felt that I'm not going to get two of these, faulty, incorrect. The chance of that was going to be very, very slim. So the best option for me then, and following guidance, was to apply for a PCR test. Now, where I live, I'm actually really, really lucky, and I have two options. I can have one sent, or one I can drive to. Now, again, as I wasn't feeling any COVID symptoms at this point, it made sense to utilise this drive experience. It was picture yourself going to McDonald's. It was that sort of simplicity. I wasn't going to be in contact with anyone. I was able to just jump in the car, get myself there, get the test done and dusted, and come back home and go from where it was. So I opted for the drive opportunity. Now, what that meant was that I then jumped in my car and drove to the PCR test. From there, I couldn't recommend. The actual PCR test was absolutely spot on. You literally turned up, they directed you where to park your car. From there, they approached your car, passed over any stuff they needed to in a secure manner. They left you to kind of follow the instructions, but if you needed any help, they would have been able to come over and help you if needed. Basically, all they asked for was that you pressed your hazards, and that let them indicate that you were ready to pass over your results. Now, the way our PCR test form from there is they took your QR code and all that sort of stuff to confirm it was you. Bear in mind, I had to pre-book this PCR test, so just remember, if you do want to follow this this solution as well, make sure you pre-book this PCR test. But I was able to pre-book, get myself all set up. They came over to me, they passed over, they took my details of my bookings, who I was, that sort of thing. And then basically on the way out of the PCR test centre, they almost a claw came through the towards me, and I had to hand over my testing kit there. Now the testing kit is actually very, very similar to the lateral flow test. It's a swab of your tonsils, a swab of your nose, snap it off, put it into this liquid, this solution, seal it up, put it into a bag. So the one difference is that you don't then drip it onto lateral flow tester. They then analyse that solution, if you like, the same as you would do as a lateral flow test. So I'd done my PCR test, and then it was time for me to drive back home. Now, randomly, and I don't know why this happened, but it was actually the drive home that I started to feel unwell. And literally, when I got back, I jumped into bed, and I was there for 48 hours. Now, in my opinion, I got away with this quite mildly, and I only showed mild symptoms, but I was still bedbound. Bear in mind, I'm double vaxxed, and I actually had my booster booked for just over a week's time. Now, with everything that's happened, I've got to wait 28 days, but I was, planning to get that booster shot as soon as possible. But the symptoms I had at the very beginning all started with a headache, and then I had a fever, and then it can only be described as really flu symptoms. And honestly, as bad as I felt, I know I could have felt a whole lot worse if I wasn't double vaxxed. So I do feel like, as bad as it was and having 48 hours of bedboundness, then yeah, it could have been far worse. And other than really the fever, the other symptoms are symptoms you can just really, you feel uncomfortable, but, ultimately you can kind of, other than being bedbound and being isolated, you can pretty much carry on with day-to-day life. But that fever really, for me, hit quite hard. So that's a history of where we are. And what does that mean going forward? Well, unfortunately, the only slight hiccup I've had is my isolation date. So, and this is no fault of the NHS at all, because I know how much they are still trying to figure out as well. But the track and trace has to this date given me 3 different dates of my isolation. My first one being the 22nd of December. My second one being the 24th. And then I've also been told the 26th. Now, in fairness, I think the 22nd might have been a red herring. That was just based on kind of the initial reactions and everything else. So what do you learn from these sort of experiences? Well, more than anything, it's that vulnerability that you have for working for yourself. And again, can't stress enough, it's that importance and reliance of diversifying your income. You see, in my circumstances, now is possibly the worst time to get ill and have time off, because we're all working towards that 31st of January ITR deadline. And also, the 31st of December is also a pretty substantial deadline as well, because a lot of companies have that 31st of March year end, and if they haven't been on top of their finances for the year, then they may be waiting until the very last second to get filed. And we've seen that a lot this year, and we've got a lot of companies who are thinking that submitting their accounts could well be the final nail in the coffin. So having multiple forms of income, which, as much as possible, if you can have income streams that are passive and income streams that you can turn off as a tap, then you're going to be in a much better position. Now, in the normal circumstances, I could just, to a point, turn off some of my normal ongoing work, have just my passive income coming through, and hope that, I can balance the books and keep everything afloat. During this time period, though, where I've got these 2 deadlines that are coming up, then you are, or I am certainly, in a much more vulnerable position when it comes to time of becoming ill and poorly. And it was, maybe in hindsight, going to the Ed Sheeran event was a risky manoeuvre, but it was something that was done correctly, was done using, the correct COVID guidelines at the time. We were extra cautious, and overall it feels like it's just something that's happened because we've been unlucky, not because we've been careless. And throughout the whole of COVID, always took a very, very careful approach, and it's only been this one time that we've fallen foul of it. So what can we learn from all this? Well, that's kind of the point of this vlog today. And honestly, I didn't know what else I could do given the circumstances I'm in. I can't get a camera at the moment. I can't get all that all set up. I'm literally isolated to one room in the house, so I don't have that option of going, setting up a camera and talking to it. Hopefully before the end of VLOGMAS I'll be back up and running and have the opportunity to carry on, but I needed some topic so that I could get some content out there. And I just felt like this was possibly the only way I could achieve it. So what can we learn from this? What have we got as an opportunity then going forward? Well, again, income. Diversification of your income is going to be so important. Having some form of opportunity to delegate work. Now, I am lucky, I've got Boffix, I've got that opportunity. So a greater team can take over any kind of opportunities, or I am lucky I've got a whole team that can take over and run some elements of the business for me. And I have that as an option, and it is really important that that's there. I think what I've definitely learned from this is, although I didn't have the option, but you don't/can't rush back. You know, overall, you're going to do yourself more harm than you're going to do yourself good. And your body needs time, and yourself and everything else needs time to rest and get back up to where you were. And I know this year has been just like that last year because of COVID has made it very, very difficult. But I think you've always got to make sure that you don't leave until the last minute. And it is really, really difficult, especially in our game in accountancy world. You know, we're wanting to help our clients as much as possible, but we have to put those barriers up. We have to be able to say to clients that, you know, we need the information by a certain date, and this is the reason why. It's not just because of capacity. It's not just because of, you know, wanting to make sure that you can get everything completed. It's because of the unexpected. It's because of what can happen. And this is a great example of, you know, having to deal with that and having to bring that into perspective. So there we have it. Maybe not the most festive of vlogs we can do or have done, but this was a vlog nonetheless. And I felt like it was a topic that was worthwhile me bringing up, worthwhile me talking about. You know, gave us an opportunity to, you know, see some of the other aspects of running a business. But I hope more than anything that people can take away from this the need to go out there and just make sure you have that contingency plan in place. Make sure that you understand what these problems and how vulnerable you can be as working for yourself. And hopefully then going forward, people can make sure that their businesses are built in the right way so that they can survive elements like this. And this isn't an opportunity for people to lose out on their growth of their business. So fingers crossed I'll be in one of the next vlogs coming up. I definitely want to make sure that I'd be pushing out the content that was promised at the beginning of this vlog journey for this VLOGMAS. And I know Rachel's absolutely smashing it out on her channel, but it's not fair to keep on asking her to do day after day after day. So I'm going to sign off for this one. Short and sweet, but hopefully to the point, and hopefully I will see you in the next vlog and actually see you, you know, be in the vlog. That's the aim. So, all right, everyone, take care of yourself. See you in the next vlog. And tomorrow, I'm more than sure it's going to be Rachel over on her channel on Accountancy. So looking forward to that one. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.
Whoa, oh, oh, da 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 da, oh, oh, da 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 da, oh, oh, da 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 da, making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased. But this is my favorite holiday. It's a chance to start over new. 'Cause I missed you, so I'm letting go of everything but you. These are the good times with you. Baby, this year it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about is how it's supposed to be, making our Christmas memories. Oh oh, la da da da, oh oh, la da da da, oh oh, la da da da, making our Christmas memories. I've been wrapping presents for you. I've been hanging marbles in the tree, and I've lit my house with Christmas lights, so you should come back home to me.